Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the False Nine podcast. We're going to look back on the Premier League fixtures from last weekend. I've got Charlie, Luke, Connor, myself, and also special guest Tom, who's a good friend from ours from school. Look, I'm going to get straight into it. I'm not going to fuck around, piss around. The Liverpool Everton game, I have a few things I want to talk about. First of all, the English FA from top to bottom stink of fucking shit. They're a disgrace. They're a fucking disgrace. Every referee is not good enough for this league. Fucking VAR literally is the worst addition to the game I've ever seen. It's ruined the game. None of us, when we were kids, we did not buy into this. Like, we did not sign up for this. We signed up for a fucking game of football that we all enjoy. We didn't sign up for waiting to fucking celebrate a last-minute derby winner because some fucking geek in a box just wants to get his fucking ruler out. That prick. Right? It needs to be scrapped. The refereeing is not good enough for it. And the level of technology, you see in rugby, the level of technology is good enough and is matched the level of the sport and of the games. VAR, like, what the fuck are the camera angles, first off? Right? The most senior referee, and I think the best referee in the country, in England, and for Premier League, was shit yesterday. He was shit. He didn't handle any situation well. The VAR incident, he didn't even go look to his screen. I think as a referee and as a senior referee is him, and he's probably senior to you, David Cunt in the fucking box. He's more senior. He should go check the fucking screen, right? I think that's all for VAR. VAR needs to be scrapped. All right, it's actually ruining football. Like, it is ruining football. Like, when Henderson scored that goal, I probably haven't felt a better feeling. Like, honestly, I was so happy. And then, like, I don't understand how, I think Graham Simmons went into it. They have so much time, and they're giving themselves so much time, and they get it wrong. Like, they literally, like, I'm sorry, there needs to be performance review of every referee in the country, and they need to be sacked if they don't make it. I'm sorry, there's no second chances. You can't make mistakes at this level. You can't. I'm all for VAR, but you need to have the right technology and the right people in charge of it, and actually match the level of football. Right, fuck that. Onto that ginger T-Rex short arm prick, Jordan Pickford. He's a scumbag. End of. Right? End of. He's a scumbag. Done. Right? The death threats are not fair. Like, I don't agree with that. But he's had a history of this. He went and studs up into Danny Ings' back, could have broken Dele Alli's leg, and now he's on this to Van Dijk. Look, a lot of things in his life aren't his fault. His lack of length in his arms, right? The fact he can't catch a ball, the lack of brain cells. He has a fault for the Van Dijk incident. Being the worst keeper in the Premier League, he's the worst English keeper in the Premier League history. That's just facts. And I hope he has a shit season and ends up in League One in 2 seasons. Right. Moving on to Richarlison. Fuck him. Honestly, fuck him. That is a disgraceful challenge. And some people have said it's worse than the Van Thiago one. I think it is as well, because I think there's more malicious intent in it as well. Fucking moving on to what happened today. The Premier League, the FA are just cowards. They're just cowards. That's it. They don't want to look at it because they don't want to make their referees look like shit, and they're just going to have a go at Henderson for saying the right thing. Like, I've never come across a bunch of spineless twats. And also, this is just piled on the fact that VAR, FA, if you look at the Premier League right now, everything is just being commercialised, and we're being told you need to buy fucking a game for 15 quid. Everything's being sold. The whole game is being sold, is being commercialised. I remember I was watching a fucking American stream, they're like, extra time powered by some insurance company. Like, what the fuck? Like, what is this? Like, this game was not made to be sold. It's meant to play and everyone to enjoy. It's not fucking made for fat cunts at the top. Sorry, my language is appalling. Fat pricks at the top to fucking pocket all the money and profit on our game. Like, it needs to stop. We need to adopt a similar strategy to Germany where it's 50+1, where the fans are most the club. And people are saying, oh, look, Liverpool fans back in Project Big Picture. That is the worst thing. If the Premier League, and I'm a Liverpool fan, if the Premier League pussy out of this just because they want the money, the league is done. We can't allow this to happen because Man United and Liverpool run the league and it's unfair in every other team, right? Moving on to the game itself, I thought we were fantastic. I thought we were better than them. I think everything are shit and they're not as good as people think they are. Oh, they're not shit. Okay, I need to relax. They're not as good as they think they are. I think Thiago's fantastic. He's actually looked not to go with his leg broken because that tug nearly broke his leg in two. What was the other one? I think we were the better team by far. Fucking the Van Dijk situation is just disappointing, and obviously I know the ban for Pickford. Like, honestly, like, look, what use is that now? Like, what use is that fucking now? All I can take contented, he can't reach the crossbar even though he's a keeper because his arms are tiny. That's all. He is the worst keeper in Premier League history, and that's it. That's literally. I am so fucking disgusted, and I know. Look, COVID hasn't helped. The lack of fans haven't helped, but football is literally not the same as it used to be. And like, if we don't turn this around, we'll be going to games in the future, like delaying our celebration, delaying the best feeling a fan can feel. Just because some prick wants to get his rule out. It's not on. Tom, you can go next, man. Fucking my head's gone. Head's gone. Head's fucked.
All right. I'll come in for a small bit. Well, first of all, thank you guys so much for having me today. You guys obviously know I'm also a massive Liverpool fan. So most of the time I probably would be a bit biased, but I'll try my best to remain neutral and just call it how I see it. Probably starting with the game, obviously Liverpool-Everton at the weekend. Looking at the result for the start, it's probably a bad thing to say, and it's probably, I'm not saying, you don't want to say arrogant or anything, but it's probably because Liverpool were so good the last two seasons. A draw or a loss seems very like disappointing every time it happens, and it's so rare. I don't know. It's just almost you get used to winning. So I like straight afterwards, even we came away with a point and the points were shared. I felt you almost feel like you lost with a draw,
Yeah.
but I'm one of those guys who I don't mind losing. I'm not a sore loser, and I always try to stay humble if we lose in the right manner.
Exactly.
So, or if we draw in the right manner, that is. So on the weekend there, I felt with the Mane decision. So say with VAR, okay, I've actually got some interesting opinions on differences like that. For VAR, I actually like VAR. I'm a proper advocate of VAR, if it's used in the right way. So like I think it's completely cleaned up the game with regard to diving and stuff like it. Like 2 or 3 years ago, like that was a plague within football. I mean, every single game there was a dive that led to one team winning, whether it be whoever, it could be any team. Like no one was safe from that. Just everyone, it was a part of the game, which I thought was disgusting. So, but since VAR came in, it's obviously gotten rid of a lot of that. But at the same time, say with decisions, so the Mane decision. So obviously that's a goal from Henderson to win the game, and that's deemed to be offside. So in my opinion, looking at it at the time, I was angry because I felt like he had no advantage over anyone there because around like it was like the tip of his elbow or something was offside. But at the same time, looking back on it, I was like, if that's the way things go nowadays, fair enough. If it's for everyone, like if they're saying he's offside, I was like, okay, like that's the way it goes. But what I couldn't accept was the challenges, the way the VAR looked at the challenges. Because if you think about it, one was a red card and he got the red card with Charlison. The other one for Pickford, if he gets the red card, that could completely change the game.
Oh yeah,
for Liverpool, like we could win the game because I mean they're down. That's in the 6-7 minutes, so they don't have a keeper. They have to make a change. They're 10 men for 90 minutes basically. But so looking at those challenges, so I don't mind the decision for Mane. If that's too old, that's the way it is. I got over that. I accepted it. For the challenges now, again, before I say anything about them, I do understand with this whole people looking for a Pickford to be banned. I don't agree with that. Like I think it's done and dusted now. So, and I don't think Pickford or any footballer would go out to intentionally say, I'm going to like try to end a person's career, you know. I think it was probably just a rush of blood to the head and he just went out and made it. It was a terrible challenge. But, I mean, I don't think he meant to put Van Dijk out of action or put him on the sidelines. And that being said, like looking at the challenge, the way VAR, and again, with these officials, they obviously have about 60 seconds to make a decision. So everyone's human, they make mistakes and stuff. But the way I would make the decision looking at it, so I remember at the time thinking that if I was in their position, what would I say? Probably like Peter Walton on BT was interviewed afterward, the ex-Premier League referee from like 2013, of what he thought about the decision. And I fully agreed with him. So if the whistle has gone for offside and the ball's in the air, so Van Dijk is offside, and Pickford did what he did, that has to be deemed as violent conduct then off the ball. Because no matter what it is, he completely took Van Dijk out. So say, look at Reece James. I mean, and you can't say that it's after the whistle or something, because Reece James was sent off for England when the game was over.
Yeah.
So there's stuff like that. He could get a red card. At the same time, if the whistle goes as this happens, so you're saying it's still in play, then it's just foul play. So it's a red card that way. So either way, I thought it was a red card. I mean, I don't think there should be anything more than that. I mean, you see challenges like that all the time. And unfortunately, Verge just came off. It was just a bad one. I mean, he's done his, I think it's like a grade 3 ACL ligament tear or something like that. But at the same time, I remember telling my dad, I thought it was funny because it sounds crazy to say, but it almost sounds lucky that Verge was the one to take that tackle, because he's so big and so strong that I feel if it was any other player, that could be a career-end challenge. I think that could be a broken leg at least, and you never know. Yeah. So hopefully he'll be the man and someone with his stature to just take it, do his spell on the sidelines, work hard and come back. And the same with Pickford, all these things with death threats and stuff like that, I think that's terrible. I think that's absolutely shocking. It was a bad challenge and that's it. These things happen in football. Obviously I would have preferred if maybe he got a red or something. I thought it did deserve a red at the time. But as soon as it ends, I'm like, well, as soon as the 90 minutes are finished, I mean, football is football. That's it. You walk away. Pickford apologised for it. And Jamie Carragher did mention afterwards, he remembered when he nearly broke Nani's leg.
Yeah, that's why.
That time, he nearly broke Nani's leg. He said that was all he could think about afterwards. I'm sure Pickford's the same. We're all human. Nobody wants to cause anyone any harm. So, I don't think anyone calling for Pickford to be banned like that, I don't think it's, I don't know, I just don't think that's right, I don't think you meant to do anything like that. I mean, how we played that game as well, I'd agree with you. I thought we were playing really well. I thought we've had it's probably been the toughest thing in football is consistency, in my opinion. So, I mean, we've been so good for so long that when we see a game, say against Aston Villa, where it was just completely everything went out the window, I mean, everyone starts to jump on the whole team and be like, this is crazy, this is terrible, and stuff like that. I never thought, I kind of expected this would happen at some stage. And I remember everyone asked me afterwards, all my family members, oh, what do you think of that and stuff? And I was like, I'm not worried because this has to happen. And I was like, everyone's human playing on that pitch. So, and there's been so many decent times. When we played Chelsea, I thought we were unbelievable. Thiago, everyone, I think the whole team's unbelievable. I think Matip, whoever's in the defence there with Verge gone now can step up. I mean, at the level they've been. So, I mean, obviously it didn't go our way. I would have liked the 3 points, but, these things happen in football. So that was my opinion on the game there.
Yeah, look, I just want to pick up a few things you said. Look, the Pickford situation, I said, the ban is just pointless now. It doesn't help us in any way. Who cares if he's banned for the next 3-4 games when he's not even playing us? It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
I don't believe in the death threats either. I think as soon as they were happening, as soon as it happened, I was like, all right, relax. I still think he's a prick, and I have a right to think he's a prick, because he is a prick. He's just he is arrogant like that, and he has done before, and he has a history of doing it. But go back to the VAR situation. Sorry, go on.
So I'm just going to cut in. You both made a comment about Pickford there, and I think Richarlison is the same.
Yeah.
I kind of agree with what Tom said, but I think there's another element to it. They don't go in intentionally to hurt someone, but they do have a weakness of getting a rush of blood to the head, and they just go in for these crazy challenges. We've seen Richarlison before. If he gets I've seen him before. If he gets tripped up and the referee thinks he's diving, and I've seen him go mad and get sent off for retaliating. Yeah. And it's just it's a weakness that and Pickford obviously has it as well. We saw when Origi scored that winner a few seasons ago, this isn't a rush of blood to the head, but he panicked, and he could have just, if he didn't do anything, if he had just stood there, the ball would have just gone over the bar. The game would have been over, they would have got the point. But Pickford and Richarlison, they just sort of, I don't think they're sort of they don't go out to hurt people, but it's just in the spur of the moment, they just sort of, they put in these challenges where, and they look back on them after, you saw Richarlison and Pickford, they both came out with apologies over it, and they did feel really bad about it. So obviously at the time I was annoyed with them, I still think it's a poor challenge from Pickford, and obviously Richarlison as well. But yeah, listen, it is football, and what Tom was saying sort of about the 90 minutes, like it is done and dusted now. So I don't think people should be sort of going on about it now. Like it's over now.
Yeah,
And
I think. Yeah, sorry.
go on, Stephen. You go ahead. You have more to say there.
I just wanted to I agree. Yeah, I think it is done and dusted. There's no point really you're not going to get anything from talking about it. I think going back to the VAR point, I know the lads will probably know I was VAR in when it came in because I was sick of refs making such poor decisions. But the reason why I want it out now, it doesn't mean I don't want it in the future. I want it out now because it's not good enough for the level of football right now. It's not. It's the technology doesn't seem advanced enough. Some of the pictures just don't even seem clear. They're judging on millimeters when they don't even have a high enough resolution. And the people who are in charge of VAR, the people who are in Stockley Park, are not they're not trained enough. They're not trained well enough to actually do it, and they keep making mistakes. So at the end of the day, it's just this at the end of the day, Michael Oliver can just go over to the screen. We don't there can just be a screen there, and then we don't need VAR because all David Coutts doing is looking at the same thing from different angles. It's still a referee judging it. It's why you can't have. And a good point Jamie Carragher raised was the fact that Michael Oliver is his senior. Do you know what I mean? Michael Oliver is his senior, so going back to the Van Dijk the tackle on Van Dijk, he doesn't want to make a big decision against them. If you get me, because Michael Oliver is probably the most senior referee in the league at the moment. So that needs to be a problem. And I would rather if they had ex-referees or experienced referees in Stockley Park permanently. So the current referees, they just stick to the pitch, and then they have ex-referees or kind of more experienced referees in Stockley Park from that now on, because they know the game. They're not afraid to tell a referee to change the decision, because at the end of the day, referees don't want to make their colleagues look like idiots. They want to make sure that their decision is right. I'm not saying they're twisting it, but they want to do their best to help make them not look like a fool in front of whoever's watching the game. But look, VAR's here to stay. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about it. I just think it's not good enough for football right now. And I think it's just the wait. It's the waiting. It's the waiting that it annoys me, and it's the uncertainty and the lack of transparency. Why can't we hear the refs? Why can't we hear the refs talk? Why is there no mic? Can we not do what the rugby
yeah,
what we do with the mic?
Stephen, you're just mentioning there about the rugby, and I think if you look at it, it's just a few points I was going to say about it there. First of all, with the VAR, I think what they're instructed to do in Stockley Park, the rules are stupid. In terms of how they deem someone offside and you saw the lines they drew. It was they didn't even know what body part to draw the lines on. It's not that clear. I think it should be changed completely so that it could be the frontmost foot or something. I'm not exactly sure, but if someone's leaning naturally as they're running, I don't think that should necessarily be deemed offside. And if you look at the rugby thing, they have the big screen in the stadium. Obviously, they don't in football stadiums like Anfield and Old Trafford, obviously the biggest stadiums in the league, for the biggest clubs. They don't have big screens, but they have the screen on the side of the pitch. I think they feel a bit pressured if there's fans there, but there's no fans at all in the stadiums at the moment. It's empty, and there's no excuse not to be going over to look at it. And it's like the rugby as well. They've implemented it properly with the TMO, where the fans on the TV, you can hear what the TMO and ref are saying. And I think football the FH needs to put a bit more time into it. I think if they take VAR out of the game for a bit, and sort of just run through it properly and sort of redesign it a bit and then re-implement it possibly next year. But just make sure it's actually, because the amount of controversy this season so far over it is just...
We talk about it every weekend. There seems to be an incident every game. I want it in the game because at the end of the day, it's going to make decisions better and it's going to make the game better, and it helps evolve the game into being more clear cut and perfect. Obviously, we're not going to get that perfection, but we can get as close to it as possible. Like, look, it is what it is. Van Dijk's injured. We were robbed. Let's move on. I just want to ask Tom, I know you were touching on it with Matip stepping up. Do you still think we can win the league? Or are you a bit more, are you just kind of like, look, we'll see how it goes?
No, I 100% think we can win the league right now as a Liverpool fan. I mean, looking at the league right now, nobody has claimed it so far. Nobody has put down like a marker. I mean, it's completely like Aston Villa are second when they were fighting for relegation last year. I mean, Everton are first. Like there's so many people playing well, but nobody has, you know, been excellent. Nobody has looked at display and been like, oh my God, like they are taking control of this league. City at the minute are, I mean, they got absolutely dominated by Leicester, and then they come out and they beat Arsenal there. So they're in contention. A lot of teams have so much quality. Manchester United, like yesterday against Newcastle, some of their play was unbelievable. They have quality players there. They just need to like harness that together. Liverpool there, obviously last year, I feel like we were probably the most dominant team in the world. So this year, so far, we've shown signs of it. Against Chelsea, I thought it was unbelievable. And with the investments in like Thiago and Jota, I thought like we have the makings of a team there. And just because I know Van Dijk, in my opinion, again, he is the best defender in the world. And I know he's gone out now, but other players playing with him, like he's developed so many players. Whoever he plays beside at like a centre-back partnership, he's developed them. So I'd love for like Matip or Joe Gomez to have that belief in themselves, saying like, listen, like it's not just like Virgil can't do that by himself. Last year he couldn't do that by himself. Like he had to have a whole team.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's one man gone out, but you've got 2 or 3 men waiting to get his position. So like Matip, I've always said that Matip, I thought he's unbelievable. Yeah. I think he's a fantastic player. I mean, he gets to everything. He's so calm and stuff. And yes, probably playing with Van Dijk has helped him develop as a player. But sure, what of it now? Hopefully he can take that leadership role and help develop other people. Joe Gomez as well. I mean, he's so young, fast, and like powerful. Yeah. I don't understand why they can't step up to the mark. And the same with like all the forwards. I mean, we still got probably one of the best front three in the world. Our midfield is fantastic. If everyone, I think it's more about the belief. If Klopp can settle people down now, because there's going to be a lot on the media on the attention of Van Dijk's out, like Liverpool are finished, like that. If they can settle that down, and it's the same again, City, Chelsea, anyone like that. Everyone has the players to take this league. It's just who will step up and take it. So,
yeah, I completely agree. Like, I remember the news came out and I was on Twitter and literally it was all as if the world had ended. And I was just like, look, you need to back the players now. Like, they'll be reading social media. They'll be reading your tweets because they're on social media as well. They don't want to see, oh, fuck, we lost one player. Like, we have, like, this team has won a European Cup, a Premier League, or World Champions. Like, this team, like, all these players are quality and they can step up. Like, I remember Matip when we won the Champions League, that whole campaign. Honestly, he was actually better than Van Dijk. Like, he
was unbelievable. He's fantastic.
He was so good. And, like, Joe Gomez has so much potential and has shown how good he can be. Like, and Fabinho could drop in there. Fabinho looks like a world-class centre-back when he drops in there. So we do have hope. It's just if we can keep people fit, like Thiago, for me, just every time we put, like, the 2 times he's played, like, he is different. He's just a different class, isn't he? He's just another level of a footballer. He is probably, like, he's the only world-class player we've probably signed who was world-class when we signed him. Because we've obviously made players world-class, but, like, he's just unbelievable. I'm confident now that he will take a leadership role. He'll like to take the ball in the big games and he will settle people down and he will help out certain players with his experience. I think it would be interesting to see what United fans think. Charlie, what do you think? Are we still dusted?
We'll move on to United soon as well.
I've sat here patiently listening to you, have your rants, and I just feel like you seem to think it's Liverpool against the world. And to an extent, it is that way because you've made it that way. Your fan base, it's pathetic at times if we're being honest. I mean, sending death threats to players, yeah. But I think this is the first time you've actually dropped points due to VAR. It's happened to every other team. They've accepted it. They've moved on. Not with Liverpool. Get the petitions out. get the death threats out, get the VAR out. But at the end of the day, right? Okay, the officiating was bad. With the offside, VAR is just implementing the rules of the game. Now, that's the offside rule. That is not a VAR issue. That is the rules of the game issue. It's ridiculous that, a toenail can be given offside, but that's the rule and it should be changed. Now, the ref, he did make a poor decision because he sent Richarlison off after the whistle and didn't send Pickford off. But the level of excuses and, Liverpool fans, it's just pathetic, really. Like,
I'm gonna have to put it.
I understand. Your best player got injured. You're not happy. But there's moral expectations.
No, I know.
I've literally said that I have 10 minutes left, and we've discussed one game. And Stephen, you've been talking for ages. Just let them talk and move on.
I'm gonna move on to you.
I'm leaving in 10 minutes, all right?
I want you. Shut up. I want you to move on to now, right? United yesterday. Not yesterday. Saturday evening, wasn't it? Yeah, it was Saturday evening. 4-1. You're in the league now, according to all your fans on the internet, and you're beat PSG 4-0 in their own gaff. I thought it was all doom and gloom. What's happened?
Right, well, I'll go through it, right? The first 3 games, that wasn't us. We were clearly way off the pace. Now, the Newcastle game, I'm going to admit it, Newcastle were absolutely shocking. We bypassed their midfield way too easily. But usually, Newcastle are a very tough team to beat at St. James's. We put them away pretty easily. Now, we did score in the 83rd minute, but we did dominate the game from start to finish. And it just looked like we were back up to the pace of the game. And I think if we can keep going like that, we can definitely at least challenge for top 4. And you never know, if we find the form we found last season, then we could maybe come close to a title if Liverpool keep dropping the points they're dropping and everyone else doesn't start playing very well.
I agree. Like, I thought Mata was sensational. I think, if you think about it, I could have lost that game in last year, or tail end of last year, or even started this season. Newcastle could have stayed in the game with Nicholas. So he was very impressive result. I still think you're a horrific football team. Oh no, I need a new manager. But it's so hard telling now, because if you look at their team on paper, I know we said about Maguire and all that, but it's actually a good team. It's a very good team, and it should be getting top 4. It's just does it not worry you that why would fans celebrate Ollie winning so he stays in the job, or do you just think that's just waffle? We're just saying that to.
At the end of the day, if we win a football match, we're happy. I mean, you need to back the manager that's in the job. I'm not going to go out and say, "Oh, I hope we lose today, so Ollie gets that." Every game United play, I want them to win.
Exactly, yeah. Well, but we'll move on to I know we spent a little bit on the VAR thing, but it was the only interesting thing in the weekend. But Chelsea, Tottenham, Shampolic. Honestly, I'll put my hands up, right? I did say Tottenham were title contenders. I still think they do. They are, right? Because I respect Dom New. But Tom, what were your thoughts on the Tottenham game? I don't know if you watched it. What?
I watched it live. I was speechless after. I was speechless. I couldn't believe it. I always thought it was going to happen, though. In the second half. In the first half, fair enough, Spurs dominant. Yeah. Harry Kane, unbelievable. What a game. Son as well. Fantastic. But I always thought down the left-hand side for West Ham, Cresswell, there was just something there that they had a chance if somebody could do something. So, obviously, Balbuena got one. That was the start of the comeback. I don't think it was Antonio. I don't think it was probably his night. But as soon as the goal went in, I remember just thinking, I was like, just work on one more. Just start getting one more. They got the next one. And that last goal, in all fairness, oh my God. I said at the time, goal of the season, maybe. It has to be. Last minute, what was it, 93rd, 4th minute? Oh my God, that was some strike.
Context behind the game, right? That is actually a proper rivalry. They actually hate each other. Imagine VAR ruled that out for a toenail offside. And that was ruined.
See, there was like he was outside the box. He couldn't.
Look,
No,
look
no,
at it
no,
the other
in the
way.
build- in
Steve,
the
Steve,
build-
Steve. Can we
build-
look at it the other way? Can we look at it the other way? Say it's 2-2.
Yeah.
Everton go up the other end of the pitch. Dominic Calvert-Lewin scores and he's offside. Oh, and it counts. What are you going to say then? Oh, if VAR was there, that wouldn't have counted. It
No.
works both ways here. It works
No.
both ways. You would be
No.
ceding that. You
No,
would
no, no.
like.
That's football.
You would.
That's
You
football.
would. It's factual.
No, no.
I think
agree with you.
it's
No,
I think
no,
it's the fact that there were so many decisions in that game that went against them.
Oh yeah, no. Hang on. Go back to his Everton thing. If Everton scored last minute winner offside, I'm devastated. I'm calling the line out. I'm fucking prick. But that's football. That's it. Like that's Everton fans like, oh my god, we got a last minute win that shouldn't have counted against you. You Lino FC. Like, do you know what I mean? Like that is football. That's what football's about. It's about a rivalry. I'm not having some fucking pricking. I'm not going into it. Right, we'll move on to Chelsea.
One thing I would say though is it's human error. You're never gonna take human error out of it. It's just life. That's like without VAR, the ref didn't send off Van Dijk, or didn't send off Pickford. So and with VAR, he didn't send off Pickford. So you can say, oh, VAR should be taken out, but he didn't get sent off. That's just life. It's human error that the guy didn't say, oh, that's a red card. But you're never gonna. It's human error if a linesman makes a bad decision on an offside. But with or without VAR, there's going to be human error. So you're just going to have to live with it. I'd like to point out. You can say, oh, you're United. All you get is penalties from VAR. Look at Bournemouth last season. Eric Bailly gets a handball given against him. It wasn't even inside the box. Now we ended up winning the game, okay, but we didn't make a massive song and dance about that. Start of the season, Lindelof, handball given against him, penalty. We end up losing the game. We didn't make a song and dance about that either. Now I know the rule has since been changed, but like at the end of the day, you have to just accept it. There's no point making petitions and all.
No. I don't agree. Like we just made it clear. The petitions are stupid. Like the game's over. I'm just saying, if we have to look at that game, like how can we prove the VAR? How can we prove the game? You have to look at these and go. You can't just go, throw it in. It's fine. It happened. We move on. You have to look at them and say we have to improve, and that might involve taking VAR out of the game. Right? We need to stay away from VAR. It's done.
Yeah,
If you take out VAR, then you're gonna have goals that are clearly offside that are given. So it works both ways. Like, do you want to implement the rules of football or not?
Existed for over 100 years with no VAR, and it was a sport that no one complained about. Oh, the referees are so shit, blah 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 blah. Referees always made decisions, and they still will with VAR. I'm just saying it needs to be a better technology and needs to meet the level of the Premier League because the Premier League has so much money involved. That's all I'm saying. Right.
And with that thought, we're going to move on to the Southampton-Chelsea match to talk about Chelsea. I'm going to make a point first.
Yeah, go. You go.
Before the game, Luke in his prediction said that Timo Werner will get in behind, and I think Charlie did as well actually, and said he'd score at least 2, which he did. Okay, just hold your thought there. Yeah. I also said that Danny Ings would score and that it would be a draw in that game. So
I said that as well. I have the lottery numbers as well if you want.
Yeah, in fact, Luke's been the best at predicting the results this weekend so far. He's gone, I think, 3 or 4. I think 4 of them he got the exact results for. So yeah, Chelsea again, like it's typical Chelsea. Yeah. Decent attack, scoring goals. Obviously, Southampton were woeful in defence. Chelsea were equally as bad in the second half. You'd usually the season before, you'd expect Southampton to go 2-0 up and then bottle it, but with Chelsea this time, I think Werner's goals, I think they're both easily defendable. Havertz's goal though, I think that was a nice play by Chelsea, but they again at the back, something needs to be done about that.
Yeah, so I think it's just like I don't want to repeat myself at Chelsea. We literally said it. We say it every week. It's literally the same thing over and over again. Defense letting them down, looking good going forward. Lampard hasn't a clue what he's doing. I want to go on. I know we spent briefly on Chelsea, but I want to go on to the Arsenal City game. Does anyone think that Arteta kind of like threw it? Not throw it, but he didn't. He kind of just played damage control.
He didn't really go for it. He didn't really go. I know he chucked on a few attackers, but you got to change the shape at some stage. You got to throw men forward. Yeah. He didn't do it. Now you can stick with your system. I know that's what people are advocating nowadays, but if you're 1-0 down with 10 minutes to go, surely you take off one of your defenders and go for the game. Like, and nothing will be said about it because people think Arteta is some sort of tactical genius, and he has got his tactics right some of the time. But like, if that was Ollie or Lampard, you'd be hearing a different story.
Exactly. Like, Tom, I don't know if you watched the game or not, but I don't know what you think, but like, City are there for the taking, and I'm so disappointed. I was like you literally, they beat them in the cup 2-3 months ago. Like, why can't they just go for them? Like, last 10 minutes, press Rodri, press the midfield, press them at the back, because we know they can make mistakes.
Yeah, City, like, even in attack today, or sorry, in the City game, like, with that Arsenal backline, like, you would have thought that City would get at them and score a few more goals than that. I really thought that City would be doing better, especially like to bounce back after the Leicester game. But they just didn't look at it. Like, they're lucky that Arsenal didn't show up, if I'm honest. Like, Arsenal could have easily have gotten something out of that game. So, Tom, what do you think actually about that match? I'll ask you for your opinion.
Personally, I think I was talking to some of the guys before, some of the Arsenal fans that I know. I think, and they disagree with me on this, I think Aubameyang is a striker. I think he's like a natural goal scorer up top. But they're playing him left mid, and I hear them saying, you know what, like, he's the best left mid in the league and stuff like that. I think he's going to be great anywhere. I think he's a top class player. But if you have a goal scorer like that, surely he has to be up top. I mean, I don't know. And everyone's saying he's so fast and this and that. But like, just because you're fast nowadays doesn't mean you play in the wing. Yeah. I mean, I just think he's a poacher, and he needs to. If you're getting him goals, he has to start like up front. And Nketiah, I know they're saying like he's a young player, this and that. But I mean, it's kind of like you were saying, Stephen, earlier on when Liverpool bought Thiago or something like that. If you have class in your team like that, surely they're like the first name on the team sheet who's like up top or something. Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, players nowadays can nearly play anywhere in the attacking roles. But if I was Arteta, I would have had Aubameyang, and I would have been same with Frank Lampard though. I mean, he started Werner on left mid, left wing for so many games, and I was always saying he's a striker, and as soon as he plays him up top, 2 goals. I feel like some of these managers, the young managers especially, with Arteta and Lampard, I feel like maybe the experience gets them, like lets them down sometimes. Because looking at Chelsea's team, I mean, they could have so many different combinations. It's just that Lampard doesn't have his starting 11 nearly changes every week. Like, I feel like any of the teams who consistently perform have a consistent starting 11 who usually go out. You can nearly predict it before the team sheets go up. But with all of those, I have no idea who's starting. Like, is it going to be Lacazette? Is it going to be Nketiah? Is it going to be, for Chelsea, is it going to be Werner? Is it going to be Abraham? Is it going to be Giroud? I mean, he played international there recently, and did he get a goal or two or something? I heard he was on fire.
He got 2, I think,
Yeah. So I don't know. That's what I thought, anyways.
Yeah, I think it's the overthinking that just trying to catch. I think Arteta is just trying to catch what Pep and Klopp he wants to be at their level, and they're just overthinking it. Like, just keep it simple at times. Like, play your best players in their position. You don't have to overthink everything to outclass like a Klopp. Like Klopp's lost to teams that play 4-4-2. Simeone, like, you don't have to be so. You don't have to like be this revolutionary tactician to beat these teams. You keep it simple at times, and it's just the overthinking for me at times for Arteta. But look, again, another weekend, controversy, full of drama, goals again, so many goals every weekend. CL coming up. I'll try to get up for it. I tell you I will be up for it. I'm going to back the team if Van Dijk or not. But I want to say thanks a million, Tom, for coming. Thanks, Charlie, Luke, Connor.
Thanks for having me, guys. Seriously, thank you so much.
Love to have you on again. And look, thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, do all that. Share to anyone you can. If any of your mates like football, share it to them. And I'm sure they enjoy it too. But thanks a million for watching, and see you later, lads.
Thanks, guys.